everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be going through my favourite brushes, and I can't believe I didn't do this sooner, but I decided to do it now. So I'm going to be sharing all my favourite brushes with you. I will say I just filmed this makeup look, so nearly every single one of my brushes is dirty, which probably isn't the best idea to film it now when all my brushes are dirty, but at least you know I use them and at least you know I love them. So yeah, let's just get started on this video. Cool, so I'm going to start off with face brushes and then I'm going to move down the line of brushes. But to start off, I'm going to talk about foundation brushes. Now, as some of you may know, if you saw my August favourites, I mentioned this brush from the PS Pro range from Penny's, and this is the 101, I'm pretty sure it was called Large Stippling Brush, and I love this for foundation. It is really like light, but you still, like when I first saw this I was like, I wonder would it like A, either soak up like on my foundation, or B, like really diffuse the coverage and it wouldn't be as high coverage, like it would just kind of like move it around a bit. But I actually feel the complete opposite about this. I feel like it doesn't soak up a lot of product, and I feel like it does nearly even add coverage because you're going so light over it. But yeah, I feel like this gives you like the best out of the foundation, and if you're someone that likes to do like a light layer and then do another light layer for like extra coverage, I feel like this would be amazing because it does do a really light layer but it still does it really well, and you get the best out of the foundation, which is why I really like this brush. Then one of my other fave foundation brushes is this one from Blank Canvas. It's the F22 brush. I'm not sure if it's limited edition or if this is just limited edition packaging, because I'm pretty sure I've seen this around but it has a black handle. I'm not sure. It's still the same brush though. But I love this, especially for like full coverage and like when I'm getting ready to go out and I like want to pack it on, because it's really like fully packed and like you can really like pound the foundation on, which is what I love. You could also use it for powder, but I have one similar to it that I use for powder instead, so this one is just mainly for foundation. And then it's not technically a brush, but the Beauty Blender sponge, I absolutely love it. Mine is like dirty and like it has like a little bit of a hole in it, and I could really do with getting a new one, but it still works and I still love it, so I don't know. But I really do love this. I prefer this more for like everyday. Like I use these two more every day. I tend to use this one all the time just because it's so easy. And once it's wet, then I use it for concealer and like sometimes powder, and like it just has so many uses. So I tend to like go between the two of these for my day-to-day foundation. But you just can't beat this in my opinion. Although I do love the Real Techniques one, the orange one. I think that one's great too as like a cheaper alternative. So then, speaking of powder brushes, this one is my go-to. This is the Real Techniques buffer brush, I want to say. It came in the set of face brushes. I think, is there 4 or 5 in it? I think there might be 4. It came in that set and I absolutely love this for powder. It's a little bit not as like packed as the Blank Canvas one. It's a little bit like not as packed, but that's why I prefer it for powder, because you don't want to be packing on like loads and loads of powder. But if you do, it's really great for that because it really lets you like pound it on, which is what I absolutely love. I also love this brush from Real Techniques. This is the contour brush and it comes in the set with this brush and I'm pretty sure 2 other brushes. But I just love this because it's so good for setting under your eyes with powder. I absolutely love it for that. I love the shape of it and how like small and tapered it is. It's so perfect for setting under your eyes, and also for like baking if you wanted to do that. I just think it's perfect for like that area. You could also use it to blend out your concealer, but I don't like to use like fluffy brushes for that. I prefer to use like smaller, like mini foundation brushes for that. Speaking of, this is what I was talking about. It almost looks like a really tiny version of this foundation brush. I didn't want to mention this because I did get it as part of my like college brush set, and I haven't seen anything that looks similar to this. Although I will say that the Real Techniques eye set has a blending brush in it, and it does look very, very, very similar to this. I have no idea where mine is, but I do know when I did have it, I used it for concealer. So I know you probably most likely won't be able to get this, but if you get the Real Techniques eye set, the blending brush in it is almost identical to this, and it's amazing for concealer. Another brush I love that you won't be able to get because it also came in the set is this one. The only thing is it's extremely similar to this one, so if I had like 2 of these it would be ideal, but then I would have to buy 2 of the sets and then I would have 2 of every single brush. Although I don't really see the problem in that because I do use all of them, apart from one of them which I can't find, so maybe if I did have it I would use it. But yeah, they're very, very, very similar, and I use this to contour. I would use this to contour if I didn't use it to set under my eyes, but if you get the set, like, you can use this to set under your eyes instead and use this as the contour one, because that is what it's marketed as. So yeah, that's one I definitely love for contouring. But I also love this one for contouring because of the shape. It's like angled and it just fits in perfectly. This one's from Pennies. It doesn't have a name on it, it just says PS on it. It's not from the Pro range, it's just from like the normal range, and I'm pretty sure it is called the contour brush. So you shouldn't have any difficulties finding it. But yeah, if you can't get the other one and then you buy the Real Techniques set and you want to use this one for under your eyes as well, then just pick up this contour one because it's really cheap and it's really good. This is also a Real Techniques one, and this is their stippling brush. Now you can buy this one on its own. I bought it on its own. And it's perfect for blending out cream contour and cream highlight if you want, but I never really mix the two because they're both going on one brush, and I prefer to blend out my cream contour first, so then I wouldn't really go in with blend out my cream highlight with the same brush because it might darken it. But for cream contour, this brush is fab, and it is just like a smaller version of the Pennies one. I didn't check to see if they had a smaller version of this. If they did though, it would probably be an exact dupe for this one. I just realised like nearly all of my face brushes are from Real Techniques, and it's just because they do amazing face brushes. They do good eye brushes as well, but I have different favourites for eye brushes. But for foundation brushes and base brushes, they are amazing. So definitely check them out if you're starting into makeup, or like I still use them and I will still continue to use them way into the future. I don't see any problem with them. Definitely check them out. So for highlight, you always see me using this one. It's so tiny and fluffy. It's actually a eyeshadow brush, but I think it's quite big for eyeshadow. I don't know, I have quite big eyes, but I still don't think I'd be able to get away with this big of a fluffy brush for eyeshadow. But however, I use it to highlight. So this is a Nima brush, and this is Nicola. All the Nima brushes have names, they don't have like numbers. So this is the Nicola one, and it is perfect for highlight. I absolutely love it. I know some people use like fan brushes and stuff, and I did have a fan brush and I did actually quite like it, but it lost its shape really easily. But I think this is perfect for getting like right on the high points that you want it, and I just love it. So then moving on to eye brushes. I could honestly talk about eye brushes until the cows come home, but you don't need like huge amounts of eye brushes. Like you do need a few and you do need like a variety, but you definitely don't need as many as I have. Or there's no point in me recommending this many, because if you're a beginner or even if they're just for yourself, it is a bit much. So this is another brush from Nima. This is the Debs brush. I love this because even though it's fluffy, it's still very, very, very like densely packed. And it's really good at like packing on colour and blending it out at the same time, which is something that I really like, because sometimes with blending brushes, they're no good for packing on colour, or they're good at packing on colour but you can't blend them out, and I feel like this is a really good mix of in between. So I really love this one, and I also love the handles. I think they're fab. My number one blending brush that I go to is my Mikasa E330 brush. This brush is like the softest and like most beautiful blending brush I've ever used. See, that was the thing with the brushes that we got from college. I'll show you here. This is one of them and I absolutely love it. And it's a really good blending brush. But these are made from goat's hair and they are so sharp. Like, even when I use like Johnson's shampoo and conditioner and everything, they're still really sharp, like the hairs. And when you're blending them on your eyes, they're scratching your lids. They're not like actually scratching your lids, but they feel like they're scratching your lids. And I noticed it hurting me. And the last thing I wanted to do was start using it on people. Like, I've used it on my mum a few times and she's always like, I hate them brushes. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the hair or what it is, but they just don't seem to like soften as well as synthetic brushes do. So that's why I absolutely love this one, because it's so soft and so like comfortable on your eye. Because sometimes when you're blending, you're literally there for like ages. And if you're using something that's sharp and that's hurting, your eye is just going to get a little bit red and irritated. So that's why I absolutely love this brush. So another blending brush fave of mine is the Blank Canvas E40 and E41 dual ended brush. I'm not sure if you can buy this. I know I got this as a gift when I went to an event, but I'm pretty sure you can get it. It's just that it has two different numbers on it that I'm not sure, but I'm guessing this is just the E40 brush and this is the E41 brush, but they came double ended. If I can find it, I'll link it down below. But yeah, it has the like fluffy brush this end. Really soft, really comfortable, quite small but good for like detailed work. And then this end, it has the packing brush, which I absolutely love. Some brushes have like a packing end and a blending end, because you can literally just flip back and forth. You can pack on the colour and then flip it over and blend it out. And I feel like double-ended brushes are so handy for that. And they take up like half the amount of room because you're only bringing one brush. And yeah, I feel like you can't go wrong with a double-ended brush. This one's also a really good one. It's the Blank Canvas E24 and it is just a packing brush again. But I feel like you can't go wrong with like a few packing brushes, because you normally use them for like one specific colour, and having a few just means that you're not trying to clean it and go in with another colour. I think having a few of them is quite good for your kit. This is also another favourite of mine. This is the Blank Canvas F17. I didn't realise how many Blank Canvas brushes I had until I sat down to film this video. I didn't actually think I had that many. But this is like a rounded, I think it's marketed as a flat concealer brush. But I absolutely love this for doing cut creases and half cut creases. If you've seen my makeup videos where I do them, you probably recognise this brush, because that's always what I use it for. I just prefer to use like the synthetic bristles over like the more fluffier ones. Like, I wouldn't really use one like this to carve out my lid. I prefer to use one that's more like marketed for concealer. So yeah, I absolutely love that one for that. This bad boy is my Ride or Die brush. This is also from Penny's. It's double-ended. I don't think it has a specific name. I can't remember. It's like a buffer brush on one end and an angled brush on the other end. This is a life changer. You could use this as a dupe for my concealer brush for concealer under your eyes, or what I use it every single time for is for setting my lid. Setting my concealer on my lid. I feel like you can't go wrong with it. It's perfect for doing that. It's well packed and I just love it. And the fact that the other end is an angled brush is just so handy. I use this for my lower lash line. I use it for my top lash line. I use it for like doing shadow if I'm doing a wing. Sometimes I use it for concealer and I use it to sharpen up my wing. There's so many uses for this, and I literally have like 4 of these brushes because I always have them on the go. I also sometimes use this for lip liner. So yeah, definitely a multi-use brush, and I think it's only like $1.50, so if you can, pick up a few of them because you'll definitely go through them. A good pencil brush is definitely something everybody needs. This one is from Mikasa also, and it is the E310, and it's just a pencil brush, but I feel like you can't do your lower lash line without a good pencil brush, or like smoking out like top liner or top shadow close to your lash line. I feel like you cannot go wrong without a pencil brush, so I'll definitely recommend picking up a pencil brush. Again, the more you have the better, because you're always using different colours. So yeah, definitely recommend a pencil brush. This brush from Sigma. This is the small tapered blending E45 brush. I absolutely love this for inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight. It's perfectly tapered. It is like you can blend with it. It's also perfect for placing colour right in your crease. But I just love it for inner corner highlight because it comes to the perfect point, and for the brow bone as well. Definitely one of the best. I also love this bad boy. You'll definitely have seen this if you watch my tutorials. This one's also from Penny's. I think it's the double-ended brow brush. I think that's what it's called. You've got your spoolie one end, and then you've got like an angled brush on the other. I use a spoolie every single day to do my brows. I can't live without it. And then the angled brush, I don't use this to fill in my brows because it's a little bit thick, but I do use it to set my brows with powder because it is that bit thicker. But I do think it's too thick to do like the inner parts of my brows and the tail and stuff, but I do use it to set my brows with powder. Okay, we're on the home stretch. So this is my favourite brow brush, and I got this in my college brush set, which makes me sad because one, I'll never be able to get it again, and two, you probably will never be able to get it. I will say though that a good dupe for it is the Mikasa E100 brush. This one is just a little bit bigger. I love this because it's super thin, and that's like how I get my brows so like defined and stuff. But you could definitely use this. It's just that this one, I just, you know when you just have a favourite? This one's my favourite, but if something ever happens to this and I, God forbid, can't use it anymore, I will move on to this one. And I will also have a look around for ones that are closer to this, because while this one is very close, I feel like I might be able to get a bit closer. So last but not least is eyeliner. This is the Inglot 31T eyeliner brush. I love this brush. I use this brush every single time I do liner. This is my second one because my other one went on a complete walkabout. I have no idea where it went. This would also be great for brows. It's very skinny, and like the bristles are skinny together, but it's also skinny this way too. It would be perfect for doing your brows, but I 100% use it for liner. It's my favourite liner brush that I've found to date. So yeah, Inglot 31T, cannot go wrong. So yeah, that is it for my favourite brushes. I do have a lot more favourite brushes, but it gets repetitive. Like I have my favourite blending brush, then I have my second favourite, my third favourite, my fourth favourite, and I don't want to bore you with like 100 versions of the same brush that I like. If you would like to like know some alternatives, feel free to message me or comment below. If you can't get your hands on these but you'd like a dupe, maybe I can have a look and see what's out there. I definitely feel like you cannot go wrong with the Real Techniques brushes and the Penny's brushes. I've had both of them for years. I've had the Real Techniques ones longer, obviously, because the Penny's ones are more recent. But I feel like the quality of the Penny's ones are amazing. And as well, with the price, you can afford to get a couple, especially of the double-ended blending and angled. You cannot go wrong with that brush. But yeah, they were all my favourite brushes. Again, if you have any suggestions of brushes you think I might like, or you want to know a little bit more about some of these brushes, I can answer any questions you have in the comments, or if you want to private message me, I have no problem answering questions about brushes. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you want to subscribe, you can click here. And if you want to watch my latest video, you can click here. And that is all from me. I will see you on the next one.